Hey everybody, good morning. We've got channel member Amy, channel member Don, channel member Goose, Lieutenant Colonel. How you doing this morning, sir? Rex, Sergio, Donald, Ed, Gayton, Svenborn, Darren, Nikki, Rob, General, Rush. Good to see you, sir. Glad to have everybody. Cliff, even Kimberly, my favorite subscriber in the whole world, is on the channel. Welcome everybody. And if you want to chat with me, you want to say hey, you want to jump in here, talk to everybody, click the button over here. Be a subscriber on the channel. A few seconds later, you can jump in and chat. And if you like what I'm doing and you want to support me and my family, the channel membership option is available, and I give you extra content. Like, what do I expect out of the top 50 stocks? For the top tier, you get the top 10 if you're just a basic channel membership. Anyway, welcome to the stream. Plus, all sorts of interesting other stuff. I'll post a picture of the chicken wings I made last night here in a little bit. And welcome to the stream, everybody. And Rongamer, hey, good to see you. Hope you're feeling better, my man. Hope you're feeling better. It's kind of a double-edged sword, right? You feel better and you get to go back to work. Anyway, all right, jumping into it. So the thumbnail, the topic of the day, black gold, right? Black gold. That would be crude oil. And I brought some charts and some fun stuff, and I'm trying to pop it up and make sure it's on the right screen before I share it here. And there we go. Let's make it bigger, shall we? Check this out. Surging excess liquidity. This is global liquidity. Could soon buoy oil prices. Look at the past. Every time we get a spike in that global liquidity, that's the orange excess liquidity indicator. And it's been pushed forward 9 months. Left-hand side, look at this spike right here, but oil is in the doldrums down here. This presents an opportunity for oil to spike in a big way. We saw this happen over here. It started taking off. We didn't get to this level before it really started ripping, though. Look back here in 2020. 2020 was a unique situation. And the grayed out little zones are recessions in the economy. And usually when we get a spike, we get some oil follow through. Now, not all the time, as you can see right back over here. That global liquidity did create a reversal, but it wasn't a huge boom to big all-time highs. So we do have the price of oil kind of hanging over here. We'll see what happens here. We'll see what happens. Now, right here, a rising global excess liquidity typically will boost demand of oil also. So global oil demand has been pretty flat, kind of ticking down slightly near zero as we have that excess liquidity spiking off. So it's interesting that oil doesn't typically let that excess liquidity get far above it. So this is a unique situation here that we haven't seen in the last 20 years. And next chart up, supply headwinds are easing for oil. That's an interesting one, right? We also have China's oil imports set to pick up on their, they just had another $10 trillion of stimulus to their $5 trillion. So they have like 15 trillion won, not trillion dollars, but trillion won of stimulus. I think 10 trillion is like 10 trillion won, something like $1.5 trillion, something like that. So we're looking at almost $2 trillion of U.S. stimulus, U.S. dollar stimulus for the Chinese economy. Yet, kind of down on imports. We could see this turn and burn pretty quickly. So this may be what I'm saying, what I'm kind of preparing you for. Not today, not tomorrow, not even next month, but it's going to be a sector rotation thing. Goose and I typically go through and look for these things. Daggum updates every day. All right. There we go. And so as we see that stimulus, that liquidity coming out there, I mean, heck, they're letting people, they're essentially taking existing mortgages and changing the interest rate to provide more cash to people immediately so they can, have more liquid situations. They can start being consumers. It's just crazy to me. They're doing that in China. And then finally, oil has become very, very oversold. Usually we see a big reversal after we're down in this low here. We're getting down there again. We may make a lower low, but we could be very, very oversold and create a big reversal. So, hey, Charlie, good to see you. Good to see you. All right, Robert, Kay, Tara, Mary, good to see everybody. Jerry, Gayton, Will, Frank, Dan, glad to have everybody on the stream with me this morning. So we're seeing this opportunity presenting itself for the future. Is it like get in today? Maybe not. I think we got some election stuff, some FOMC stuff to work through next week. So far, my scenario 1 not really playing out, where we just pop off on big tech earnings. Scenario 2, where we just grind down, kind of correct a little bit into the election and the FOMC. That seems to be the operative narrative that's playing out. This can result in a ramp after we've got clarity in the market, and we can see that carry through Q1, Q2, possibly Q3 next year. Maybe there's this small possibility, maybe 2% possibility right now that we carry that rally through the end of 25, possibly into 26. I just don't see it right now. I think we're going to top out the first half. I think it's like 90% probable we top out the first half of next year and then get a big correction. It could possibly extend on out late next year, 10% chance. 2026, like 2% chance at this point. Now, probabilities can change, and they always do. And as we get more information, I reserve the right to change my outlook. Don't lock me in. Like it, new information is new information. I can't predict the new information that may come out. So, but I see that kind of happening, and oil's oversold, and this could be a sector rotation. We saw a lot of sector rotating out of oil. Before we saw a lot of stuff rolling out of dividend payers and stuff like that. And now this year it's been heavy back into dividend payers and REITs and stuff like that. And oil has been kind of suffering after the giant pop. And now we're setting the stage to sector rotate back into oil again. I'll share trades as I go along. I did lighten up the load last week, or I guess it was early this week. And even though we've turned kind of a bottom in the CL chart, we'll see what happens. And look at this, turned down pretty violently. There you go, betting for you. And we'll see what happens next week. This is the next big event coming up on Tuesday. Coming down to the end of this, November 5th. We'll see what happens. These are the two main people, even though there's like 20 or 30 people running. These are the two main ones if you're outside the US, and we'll see what happens. I think it doesn't really matter for us. A lot of people feel like it matters, but as I've laid out for those of you that have heard it, it doesn't really matter. It doesn't matter. Like the FOMC meeting starting on Wednesday and ending on Thursday is going to be more important for me anyway. I feel like, even though that rate change is just chasing the market, and we'll talk more about that. And funny enough, this was a funny thing too down here. Today, we got the jobs number. Employment, look at that. Like, we were expecting 106,000 new jobs. We got 12. And that was all government jobs, essentially. Like, if the government hadn't added 30,000 jobs, that would be a loss of jobs. I don't know. Unemployment rate hanging steady. We get the ISM number here after 10 o'clock. All right. All trading. What I'm doing is trading. I'm not really investing. All trading involves a substantial risk of loss. Past performance not necessarily indicative of future results. This presentation intended to be informational, educational, fun, and entertaining. Hopefully you're entertained by being here. If not, there's plenty of stuff you can go do, but I try to bring some entertainment. So what this is not, though, see, I make predictions. Sometimes they come true. Sometimes I get lucky. but sometimes they don't. And so that means there's a significant risk of loss if you buy stocks, options, bonds, forex, futures, cryptos, treasuries. If you long them, you short them, you trade them. Like I said, I'm a trader, not an investor. If you desire personal financial advice, though, you got to hire and consult a financial advisor. That's not what I'm doing here. I'm not trying to be a financial advisor, all right? I'm not trying to tell you what buttons to push. Sledge was poking fun at me yesterday about it. And, I keep having to say it because people are like, I know you don't tell me what buttons to push, but, and they private message me and say, hey, tell me what buttons to push. I can't tell you what to get into. I can't tell you based on your situation. That's not my, like, I'm operating in this kind of corner of the market where I kind of have to give blanket advice to everybody, what they call advice. I share what I'm doing. That's my advice. I share what I'm doing. It's, and things like don't take big losses. Don't get into trades with real money. Like, that's my advice, right? Don't trade. All right. Beyond that, I can't tell you what to do. I can't tell you what buttons to push. I can't tell you what stock to get in. I can tell Kimberly, but I can't tell you. And yeah, look at that. Lucky again on Amazon. Just happened to, I was like, I'm going to stay in, and cha-ching. Beautiful. Look how, we're going to have to scale this out. Look at this. Now, my target is up here. We're $10 shy at this point, but that, I was saying yesterday morning, I'm going to stay the course, and hopefully, now Meta Meta did get slammed. Look at that. Look at that. I was right on Meta too. The immediate reaction was not there, but now this may come on down. Watch for that right there. I mean, down 24. That was a pretty good negative. Microsoft, got that one wrong. That one looks like we might be breaking down. Have to see. Is that a fake out and we reverse it and go higher here, or is that a breakdown and we go lower? Definitely one to keep an eye on there on Microsoft. Google, we got an initial pop, but then retraced it. I got that one pretty good, but couldn't get legs on that move. So anyway, predicting earnings is difficult. Predicting earnings, I mean, it's pretty much gambling. I mean, you can get the announcement exactly correct, like beat on the earnings, but how do you don't make money guessing the earnings. You make money guessing the reaction, right? And hey, sometimes, I mean, that was a pop, but it took it right back, and that's always my warning. Apple, I didn't even look at that one. Oh yeah, down a little bit, retracing back to the roadmap line. Funny enough, I drew it over here that we might need that retrace. I did not get into Apple. I was in Amazon. I did get into Microsoft. I'm underwater right now on the position, but it's got lots of time. I went out a little ways, and I say lots of time. It's got some time. I went out like 2 or 3 weeks. Did a put spread. So if we get a pop, that one will probably come back very quickly. And it's actually sitting, well, there's the open. It's sitting right at the money on that put spread. Right at the money. I did a 410, 400 put spread. So if we can get a pop back up into the 420 area, that one will probably close out profitable. All right. Look at this. Anybody remember me putting this little arrow on the chart earlier in the week with the target right there? I think I put that on there Tuesday, maybe. Look at that. Look at that. Look where we got to. Look at that. Isn't that wild? I always think it's wild. Dipped right down into it. There was the chart. So if we break down below that low, we're coming around right there. It's absolute crazy. Sometimes I get it exactly right. Look at that. That was almost a perfect level right through the middle of that sucker. Hey, I don't know. Sometimes I get lucky on that. I maybe I've been doing this long enough that I'm starting to actually get good at it. I don't know. Maybe. I did take a beating yesterday with gold pulling back and Bitcoin pulling back. I got murderized yesterday. That sucked. I was not very keen on the results yesterday. It was like Halloween was definitely a scary day in my account. I don't know about y'all, but so that looks pretty good. Potentially that was it. Potentially that was the bottom right there at the 5,700. We could turn it and burn it. Let's look at the smaller time frame here on the 15-minute ES. We're gonna have to build back out of here. We got down past the, even to the low target right there. Pretty much hit all those yesterday. So we need to reverse this, get back above the 15-minute, then back above the 30-minute, then back above the 1 hour, then back above the 4 hour. We got a lot of stuff to do. we got a lot of work to do. Luckily, the daily is still significantly below us right now, but as I was talking about yesterday, I think it was, on election night, or even the FOMC, we could take a quick trip down here and tag this baby. And then work on that move higher. So if you're not ready for that possibility, be careful out there. All right, be careful. That is a distinct possibility that something we could see in the coming week. I'll probably add some protection for that Monday or Tuesday. We'll talk about it more as I get into my decision. I may think about it really hard on Monday and then Tuesday tell y'all what it is. And then I don't think I'm going to roll through the potential next week without some sort of downside protection, more than what I've already got. And I've already got that one I put a couple months back. The last FOMC, already got that one sitting there, and so I'm going to add something probably a little higher up, maybe something that can take advantage of this move right here if it happens. Now, yesterday I did talk about IWM, the Russell specifically, but IWM, I did place a 216, 210 right there. I did place it out to January. So I did 216, 210 out to January, just because this looks like it's going to drop. And this is the first wind up. We'll probably get another 618 right here. And if we hold that, it's definitely a sign we're going to, definitely sets the odds we're going on down. So this next rally up to 220 again, 221. Now, if we break through that 223 area, it's probably wrecked. Like, that's probably not going down. But so here's the resistance zone in here. We pop up and hold that. That's probably where it's going. If we break through it, probably coming up here. And that's all off the Russell chart right here. Just showing you the actual way I plan to trade it. And yesterday was a starter position. I bought one put spread on IWM. I may add to it if we get that pop up to that 220 area that I just set the alerts, or 221. Yeah, 220, 221, 222. Those alerts I just set. But this right here already looks prime for that move. And this will be a one, since this is a 1, 2, 3 so far, this move right here has to be 1, 2, 3, 4, 5. It doesn't have to be those proportions, but it's got to do a 5-wave thing. And usually this point and this point will not overlap. All right. Let me know in the chat if you like that idea. I don't have a bonus trade other than this today because there's nothing set up. Like, the market was so brutal yesterday. There was nothing set up for the setup I usually look for on the daily chart. Nothing at all. And CL, look at this. They might pop this baby right back up into here. The world economy. I know the administration's been trying to flush this out. Low gas prices, low oil prices, low prices, good for getting the incumbent reelected. We could pop it up. We've got 3 days left. Be crazy. We're getting closer to the coin flip, though. I was saying we had to be down below, significantly below 72 to. Yeah, I was saying below 72 is the incumbent. We're getting back to 71. If we're back above 72, that's a coin flip zone. So, absolute amazing how that's working out. Maybe a coin flip. An oil not matter for the election. GC, big flush out yesterday. That hurt. That hurt. I have more exposure to gold and silver. I mean, I have a high exposure to gold and silver. And look at that. Right to the target. I drew it on the chart yesterday, and it did it in 1 day. That's just freaking crazy. I'm constantly amazed. Now, looking for this to break and go higher again. 40 would be the main target. 37. So, rewind to what I was saying last week. 35, 37, 40. We hit 35. We retraced. Next target up, 37. Right up here, and then 40 above that. So we hit 35, reacted negatively, 3-wave retrace. Next move up, 37, right up here. And then the move after that, we may see another retrace, and then the move after that is 40, is what I expect. Now, zooming out though. Zooming out, look at this. We've not broken out yet, and that's the big 618 right here at that 35. Why did we react at 35? Look, it's the 618 right here, like right there. Right there. Boom. React, little pause, little hiccup in the market, if you will. Little retrace. Bust through. Can be heading on up here. Look at that number, 56. That's a healthy number. Now, you may be like, well, how the fudge do I even trade silver? You're just pulling up futures. You can trade it this way. These numbers aren't going to be exactly the same. This is paper silver. And as you can see, we didn't hit 35 on here. 35 was the futures number, not the SLV number. But this one, if we run the same kind of fib line, that high, this low, we could be talking 53. Look at that. Maybe catch up. 58, possibly. So somewhere, and this could take a little while. This is not like happening next week. Not happening next month. Maybe happening out to 2030. See this? I mean, we get pullbacks that last a couple of years. We probably pull up in here, pull back a little bit, go again, be over here. All right. That's the big picture. We're looking at a weekly chart here. Big picture plan on silver. All right. Everybody like it? Now, gold, different story. Gold, different story. We're already hitting targets. This one can play out while silver does the catch-up thing. This one can spend a long time going sideways. We could do that again in here while silver rock and rolls. We've already extended gold. We haven't extended silver. Say what you want about it. Bitcoin did the retrace I was looking for. Pretty much. Zoom her up. Look at that. Beautiful retrace. Right back down. See this high right here? Basically retested that breakout level. That was the breakout. We retested it right there. Right there. right there. We retested. Now, break back above those candle bodies right there. Break back above that. Probably going up for the next fib line higher. That would be 77. And then 82 above that. Sets the stage for the bigger potential expansion. Don't have it drawn on here. Cool, thanks. That high, that low. So we have that 76, we got the 83, and then we've got the 101. This is just on futures. And if we go to the log chart, which Bitcoin looks a lot better on a log chart, we're talking 85, 103, and 174. My target, based on other methods, was 157. See what happens. We hit the 1618 on the last Bitcoin halving. We hit the 2.272 the 2 times before that. Now there's lots of people that say, well, Bitcoin, it's not going to do it this time because of this reason, that reason, that the other reason. There's so many people that expect it to go higher. Well, people following Bitcoin tend to congregate with people following Bitcoin, and you get stuck in a box where everybody's saying the same thing, and you think that everybody's thinking the same thing. But when you go outside of the crypto space and you start talking to other traders, nobody knows anything about Bitcoin. They don't know what price it is. So even though it feels like it's mainstream, we're still just a tiny, there's only like 100 million Bitcoin accounts out of 8 billion people in the world. All right. That's not high adoption rate. When you think about it, there's like 2 billion Twitter accounts or something like that. That's going to be a much higher adoption rate than 100 million Bitcoin accounts. So just kind of, even though it seems like there's widespread adoption, it seems like everybody's got their piece, we're still just a tiny fraction of the population that pays attention to this. I'm just think about it, all right? Since Bitcoin and Ethereum are the two big dogs, as Bitcoin rips, this one will probably ride along. Got a target right up here, 35. And then if we can kick off the bigger expansion, be talking about 75 and 13,000 as potential upside targets. If you're new here, I talk about these every day. Just kind of update where we are. We're still in a consolidation, still in a downtrend for Ethereum. So until it breaks out, it still sucks. And still might go lower. We could still need a lower flush out on Ethereum before it can rip. Still possible. Dollar turned down at the resistance zone. Sometimes I get lucky, and we may see this retest the roadmap line. If you don't have the roadmap line, you don't know what it is. You got two options. If you're a DIYer, you can click my logo right under my face over here, right down there. Go to the channel homepage. The video that's pinned to the channel homepage starts playing. That's the roadmap line. I tell you how to put it on your chart, DIY. Now, if you're the type, you're like, I'll give you my money. I'll give you $5 if you just make it easy and just put it on my chart. That link is in the description down below, and you can do that. I'll give you a masterclass. I'll give you a weekly watch list of things bouncing off the roadmap line, potentially going to make a move higher over the next 3 to 5 months every week. And so there you go. But this is a pattern I look for. This to hold and we go higher, or this to break and we go lower. This zone would be the retest if we break down. This test in the top of this zone would be if we bounce off. That's the dollar. And NKD, we did the retest on the roadmap line again. So this one is stacked both ways. All right, we have, this is where it gets really, really muddy, right? We held the 618 from the top. We held the 618 from the bottom. Lower highs, higher lows, watermelon seed squeezy. This is where it gets like, I don't know. Does it break down in a violent way? Does it break up in a violent way? I don't know. Unreliable. Now we are above the roadmap line. That's a positive column, so I kind of give slight edge to this one. But it can fail just as easy to do this one. All right, this is uncertain right now. Not sure. Not sure. I don't have any bets placed on this, but if you're new here, you hadn't heard me say this before, this is global liquidity. If we get a big flush out here, it's pulling the U.S. markets down with it. If we get a big pop here, it's probably pulling the U.S. markets with it. We already went through silver. This right here, Meta, potential right there. Still. Microsoft, looking for that reversal here, but that's a real possibility. Getting that head and shoulders pop down. See, that was the head and shoulders breakdown. If you're unfamiliar with head and shoulders pattern, usually the head to the neckline is the target when we break the neckline. But more often, seems like about 50% of the time on head and shoulders patterns, we get these fake breakdowns where we break the neckline, everybody sees the head and shoulders pattern, and then it goes on to rip everybody, and we go to the target on the upside. So watch out for that right there. Amazon. Oh, come on, baby. Rip it on up. 208 is the target. Yeah, I have it on the non-log target, 208. Right there. Come on. Come on. You can do it. You can do it. You can do it. Just a little more. A little more gravy. Probably the bright spot in my account today. Apple. That may have just needed another retrace before we can go up to the target. It still looks bullish. It's still well above the roadmap line. We still have the bounce intact. The entry was back here. Back over here. And we're just churning sideways, waiting for that eventual target hit. So if you don't have Apple now, consider it here. Consider stopping out at 210. Consider. I'm not saying do it. If you want to get a piece of Apple, you don't have it. You know, what was it? Goose, you had AAPU, I think it was. That's the way you like to play it. You get your piece here. Use the Apple underlying chart as your guide with the alerts. When we hit the target, 240, I think, what was it, 243? Yeah, 243. When we hit that 243 target, GTFO AAPU. You can get leverage here without buying options that have time. You can get 2x leverage on the move with just buying shares, and they're only $34 instead of $200. You'll be like, well, I'll put $70 on it, buy 2 shares. I put $1,000 on it. Do the math. You know, these don't run out of time, but when we hit that 243, GTFO, get freaking out of AAPU. All right. That's a way to play. Team. So I go pull everything moving up or down $2. Things moving up $2 or more go on the gainers list. Things moving down $2 or more go on the decliners list, which is way down here. And we go through it and look at everything moving up and down in the from the pre-market and see if there's any opportunities. So team right here, if we close above this 618 here today, presents an opportunity to rally higher, and that's an old fib line. So let's put the new one on. New target will be 276 up there. If we can close in this vicinity today, this sets the odds. Probably going to go back up here. WAT. Nice bounce. That's probably already hit the target. Yep, already hit the targets. No trade. Charter. Oh, nice. I identified that earlier in the week, I do believe, as a potential opportunity. 397 would be the target up there. 407, 33 above that. And then if we can get legs, 461 above that. Like this may get a retrace once we pop in here and then do that up in here. FTAI, watch out for the retrace, back to the roadmap line. Even though we're popping, it still looks like it wants to retrace at some point. FNGU, still churn and churn and churn. And golly, man. This reminds me of the last time it churned and churned and churned. That was right over here. Well, let's see. It was right here. Last July, and like we just churned it, right? You ever remember that? Those that were here, those were, you know, thank you for being loyal followers and being here. But this right over here, this, we just churned it and churned it and churned it and churned it. And it seemed like it was never going to pop. And then all of a sudden, we broke out, retested, and went on for some went on this mega run higher. Got up to the 272, then retraced it all the way back to the roadmap line right there in April very quickly. And then we went on another mega run. And that one went way up here, 2618. And then we're back to the roadmap line again. Now this one, we're just kind of churning. We may get a dip before we get the rip. 604 would be the upside though. Just, I don't like the churn. We have that big gap down. That's resistance. We touched in there, rejected pretty hard. This is a 3x leverage on Bang. So big tech right there. ASML. Right there. And silver shiny once it's polished, but it also tarnishes pretty quickly once you touch it. So ASML right back down. Looking for this to, I'm still looking for this to go back, probably back to the bottom box right there. Find support. PDEX. No idea what that is. That looks like a gnarly chart right there. Well, pretty much hit the target. I would be cautious expecting anything else here. We may retrace this all the way back to the roadmap line down here. Looks like a bubble pattern. That was a bubble pattern for sure. Like that. If you've never seen the bubble pattern before, when we go exponential, straight up, then we get an immediate drop, a little bit of chop. That didn't last very long. Then we break down below the chop, come back down like that. That's the bubble pattern. If you've never seen it before, it's right there. You can Google it. You know, Google psychology of a market cycle. You get 9,000 examples of this in Google, all drawn the same way. It's a real. This is real. All right. This happens over and over. This is human psychology 101 in the market. The way we react. We do this over and over and over on tons of tickers. It's happening again right here, probably on PDEX. This is med specialties, so that's off my list of trading. Halo. Back to the roadmap line. Opportunity is present on Halo. Break back above the 59, 50, 60 area. Can go up to 67 and 70 right there. ABT, Abbott Laboratories. Still has the potential measured bounce in place. Targets up here, 131, 140. PRLB. Protolab. Chemical Specialty. That looks like a gnarly chart. All right, that was the bubble pattern. Consolidation right there, and the plummet. Did it over here too. Plummets. Can we do it again? Maybe. But cheese, man. Cheese and crackers, Batman. That looks like a bad chart to get involved in. There's just so much better opportunity out there. I would just not. AMZU. Probably riding. Watch for Amazon to hit the 208 target if you're into some leverage on Amazon. I did not play it with this. Wing stop. Down to a potential reversal point. Popping a little bit in the pre-market, but just hunting the bottom here. Could go lower. Next layer down would be down here. If we're going to wet the bed again. If we can reverse it, we've got this large gap right here. We're going to have to contend with to get back above the roadmap line to be able to go positive. It's got some stuff to work through. CAH. Boom. Right to the target. Look at that. See, this is when I say sometimes, like Amazon's chart, Apple's chart, sometimes these take a long time to work out. That one. Set the entry right there. That was the entry. Came up, missed, retraced, lower high, ugh, nasty, retraced again, held support, and then boom, right up to the target. If you're in it, be careful. This can be done for now and could lead to a retrace that came down here. Healthcare is kind of rocky right now, as we see on like Cigna's chart, as we see on Humana's chart. So Cardinal, I don't know, even UNH, not looking the strongest. We did the big run and made the target, and now we're kind of, looks like we had some sector rotation into healthcare. Now we're kind of rotating back out. Marvell, target still 90 bucks. TSM, targets are hit, so be careful. We could extend it to 230, but we've already hit the targets. We did retrace it. Can lead to, very commonly, we pop up, hit the target, retrace the breakouts, and then go for the extension. It's common. It's not high probability. It's common. It's not uncommon. AMZZ, it's probably another leverage. Yeah, 2x leverage on Amazon. Rocking and rolling. BA, this possibly bottomed. That. So check out what happened. We got to go down to it was after hours. Let's see. We didn't spike the lower low. I thought we did. I got an alert for it, but I guess it was just a rogue alert. That was probably on that one. I got something last night too. So one more little flush. If we can fire it off, we may find the bottom here. One little spike down below this low we made right back here. Could be the last one. Looking for that on Boeing. Let's turn the extended hours off. Regular hours. There we go. Back to it. XLY. That's at targets. Watch for a flush there. And it's interesting that XLY is sitting up here. While many of the components are not as strong. Trying to find the button to look at XLY's components here. Somewhere there's a button that keep moving then. Got all sorts of interesting things they've been adding to TradingView. More seasonals, stocks. There we go. That was the button I was looking for. We go down here and look at what they've got. Big holder of Amazon and Tesla. Top two holdings at Home Depot. So Amazon, not at the target. Tesla did hit a target, but it's still suffering a bit. Home Depot kind of pulling back. Booking. McDonald's. So, I mean, that's 22% Amazon and 14% Tesla. If you don't go look at the constituents of stuff like this, you should when you're trading it. So Amazon, not broken out yet. Then Tesla, as we've talked about, and that one's also kind of grinding here. We did hit an upside target, but we pulled back off of that. And then Home Depot, we hit the target and we've pulled back. So it's interesting that XLY just kind of grinding at the target here. So watch out. This could pull back if we see that. Now, if Amazon rocks and rolls, we could see this extend higher. So there's the two possibilities there. That's played out for now, though. That one did the bounce. We fired off the entry right here, and we hit the targets right there. USD. Pull back, find a resistance at the gap down. Can lead to the bigger retrace down here. We have a split coming up, too. Not keen on splits. Even for these ETFs, I'm not keen on them. Even though it's a regular split, not a reverse split. Just not keen on messing with the numbers here. Lulu. Well, what was it? Back in August, I drew that arrow. Here we are. Can we break through? Or do we reject and go lower? This is now the question on Lululemon. Here's the support level. We break down below this zone, probably going down lower low around 215, 210. If we can, even if we retrace, say if we retrace here and break up through, need to retrace back to the roadmap line, and then there's the high probability. So this has got some stuff to work through still. Like if we do this, you could buy here with your stop below here, looking for the bigger move up, but just know you're going to ride some retraces, more than likely. High probability to ride retraces. NVIDIA. Wow. Couldn't make it to the target so far. Still opportunity if we turn and burn the market. This could rock and roll higher. There's your upside targets for now. 148, 154, 170. But this could also fail. I'd keep an eye on it. This is a high flyer. For those of you that haven't ever dived into what this has done in the past, it did 10 for 1 split. So think about this. This was 320 right here when we spiked up here, 340. And we went all the way down to like 110. Now, just similar to the chart I was talking about a second ago, I bought right there. Well, that Lulu chart, I was using that example on the Lulu chart. I bought right there on NVIDIA and rode it up in here somewhere. Just with shares. So you can make a fair chunk of money on shares. Back to Lulu, back to NVIDIA. This chart, though, not looking nearly as awesome. Like NVIDIA made a higher high. This chart did not. So something's going on with the leverage on NVIDIA. Tesla. Ugh. Come on. We broke out. We retraced. Roadmap line. Unfortunately, high probability we go down here. Would I trade for it? No, I'm not trading for it. I'm just staying the course, holding the shares I got. We can bounce here and go up for the next extensions. Now, we could also hold this right here and go up for extensions. Entirely possible. Direction is unclear at the moment. We hit the high probability target. Now, we'll see. That was another one I got right on earnings. SMH. Just parked. Just churning. CVX. Potential to, that's potential to go higher. It's got a lot of downtrend to work through here. we can get above that, right there, odds are we can go on higher. Question mark. Crappy question mark. We'll see. SPXL. I don't know which one you're talking about, Helen. You're probably lagging just a little bit. SPXL. Retrace to the roadmap line would be expected after hitting the... So this is leveraged S&P, so be careful. SOX6. Semiconductor. I mean, CVX, it could be an inverse head and shoulders, but what time frame? Yeah, that's like very proportional. Like those are head, head, head. If you're on the small time frame, like head, shoulder, or shoulder, head, shoulder, we already probably played that out to the upside there. This one, little baby right there. That's probably already playing out. So be careful. I wouldn't bet on that. Those are not the highest reliability trades. Like, I've tried them. I've put some statistics to them. They're like 50-50, and the losses tend to be much bigger than the wins. And it's just not a, while I do talk about them, I just don't chase them. When they work, they work. When they don't, they won't. You know, there's like a head, head, shoulder, breakdown, retrace. But it could go back to the roadmap line on SPXL. Arm. And you get these all the time. You know, looks like, well, that could be a head and shoulders, but it could be a head and shoulders inverse, and it's just chopping. It's just chop is what it is. And roadmap line looks very enticing at this point for where it might go. Hold supports. We could bounce again. That's still resistance. So watch for that. And then if we break down, as I've said, for months and months and months and months, we're probably going back down here eventually. It's just how long. That's why I'm not playing it. I'm just, once we do get back down here, there's an opportunity, especially if we go lower low. Make a low in the 30-40 zone, there's an opportunity for a long-term long for this to go way up. We're talking way up, but we've got to get through that first. So this is, I keep an eye on it just to keep watching it for that opportunity. DPST, probably going to rally up to 127. Root, coming back down, tag the target. Dang. Crazy. App, probably going to come back down. MGA. I don't see SMCI. I don't know. I have no idea what the list is. I don't look through it before I go live. I just pull it and then go live. MGA, probably going to bounce off and go lower. First Solar. If it was moving $2 in the pre-market, it's probably on the list. But if it wasn't, it's probably not on the list. First Solar. It did hit the downside. You know, SMCI did hit the downside targets. Just saying. Several people booked it out. I think David Gags, I think he nailed it. Laura, I think you nailed it. If you're here, I don't know if any of y'all are here. That's below the roadmap line, downside, even though it's on a poppers list today. Cold. Natural gas must be getting hit here. Get a little retrace. Gonna fill that gap back down on the contract rollover. XOM. Potential bouncing off the roadmap line. Still in this channel though. I don't know. There's an outsized potential this breaks down and goes down here. TMDX. Yeah. I'm not sure we don't do a more severe flush out on black gold, oil type stuff, energy type stuff before we make that bottom and see that sector rotation. So there might be one more flush out to go. That's why you got to be cautious. Like now might not be the perfect opportunity, even though it looks like things are cooking. It's like one of those things to put on your radar that when the stars start coming together, you know, it's like, oh, I see the eclipse coming, but it's not here yet. So got to be careful. And that was like a little baby bubble pattern. Right back down. Look for a bottom and a reversal and get back above the roadmap line. Retrace, and that could turn around, but that is medical specialty, which is in the same vein as biotech and not something I would trade. MSTU, MicroStrategy. If you want to be long MicroStrategy, this might be the cheaper way to get in. MSTU, MST, what's the other one? MSTX, maybe? MSTT, I don't know. NVIDIA, potential for that to rock and roll. Tree, back to the roadmap line. Opportunity for this to bounce. Get back about there. 64. LABU, just consolidating biotech. Leverage biotech. There's 4 things that don't always follow patterns. One of those is leverage. Second one is biotech. Third one is low price stuff. So stuff, equities under $10. Doesn't count cryptos or futures. Fourth one being China stuff, because they have different accounting rules than US. So be careful on this one. It's 2 out of the 4 things combined into one, because it's leveraged and biotech. Now, decliners, not very many. MDGL, this was declining, now it's popping. It's crazy. Boom. But that's got a long-term kind of uptrend, just kind of cooking there. Epics went epically lower. That's why I always warn about the pharmaceuticals. You know, this just kind of humming along, and then went down like the Hindenburg. The ship exploded right down there. Be careful. Reddit. We popped up to extreme targets. That's probably going to come back to reality. Probably going to do the bubble pattern a little bit. We could see this chop around a little bit here. Consolidate. Break down and come back to Earth down here somewhere. IPOs typically make a lower low, which this counts. Typically we go lower than the IPO 95% of the time. That could be the low, but the way this is just 1, 2, 3 up like that, we also could make a lower low over here than this one. So I'm not clear what Reddit's about to do yet. DJT, probably coming back down to the roadmap line. As I drew yesterday or day before or whatever, probably going to come back right here. Then if we bounce, break above that, we can get the high probability trade up to here, 57 on the upside. If we don't hold that though, lower low, possibly down to 6 or 9, especially if the challenger doesn't win. Guess what? Warrants did the bounce. If they get back about 35, it could go up again for 48. And TROW, just churning. SMCI wasn't on the list, but we can pull it up because hit the targets. Look at that. That was the bubble pattern. I called it over here. If we pop to 1200, which we did here, which that was pre-split, we split 10 for 1 back here. When we did that, I said this is coming all the way back down to 2 to 300. And there we are, 2 to 300. We did it. I mean, that's, I don't know what to say. How low can it go? They can go back to 100. We can come all the way back here, 10. Would I buy now? Shoot, no. This is going to have to set up a very solid reversal for me before I would ever put money on this. But I'd probably not trade this because of this bubble pattern. We went exponential. We did the consolidation. We broke down and we came down to the target. Boom. Sometimes I get lucky. Sometimes I get lucky. How long? We talked about this all year. Anybody here that got a piece of that? Anybody? I know Skaggs and Laura both traded it. Anybody else? I know I lost money because I didn't buy enough time. Helen, you nail it. Good job. Great job. Great job. Don, awesome. Great work, everybody. Great work. If y'all nailed it, that's the target. That's it. That one's over for now. Could it go lower? Yeah, it could. Is it likely? I don't know. Maybe. Maybe not. Nothing's guaranteed in the markets. All right. Like I said, no bonus today. I did give you the IWM thing longer term. That one just looks rocky. And bias for the day, well, looks like we're going to take it right back up higher. Thank goodness. Hopefully my account looks better. Well, it's not going to look better until gold and Bitcoin go up. There was the gap down yesterday. We break out above that. We got the roadmap line on the 15-minute above that. We get above that. Looks like we're all good. Now, the scary thing, if we pop and make crazy all-time highs into next Friday, that can be the end. Still intact, still in place. But I do kind of just expect us to churn a little bit right there. So, all right, cool, Robert. Glad you made money. Glad you made money. All right, everybody. That's the show for today. I'll be back. Same bat time, same bat channel, 9:15, Monday morning. Doing it all over again. Looking for what's moving. Looking for the opportunities. I'll see you then. It's going to be a wild week next week. I don't see how it can't be a wild week. Be careful. The account you save.